Well, hi there, she smirked. I'm Diana Montford, the world's first transgender television journalist. My guest is bioenergy healer Mr. Anton Baraschi, who is going to tell us all about bioenergy healing. You've seen him on our show before. Well, here he is again. By popular demand, he's going to tell us all about his clinic. He's going to tell us all about Buddhism and all that wonderful stuff, and stuff we need to know and stuff we should know and stuff we will know within the space of a half hour. So here he is, the wonderful bioenergy healer, Mr. Anton Baraschi.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back again.
Thank you.
Diana, the wonderful Diana.
Oh, God.
Ebullient Diana.
Yes, you said that just the way we rehearsed it. Thank you. Anyway, no, we didn't rehearse it. He's a good guy. He's a bioenergy healer. And we're going to talk about, okay, just to refresh our memories, what exactly is bioenergy healing?
Well, bioenergy healing uses the force of life, and to see what bioenergy is, I would say that we're going to conduct a little visualization.
Okay.
If you look at the person who's sleeping next to a person who's dead, they kind of look alike, but there is a big difference in between them. And that difference I'm going to illustrate with a joke.
Okay.
You know, this is a joke that circulated about 30 years ago in New York.
Okay.
It was about a time when Leonard Bernstein passed, you know.
Yes.
And people were saying right after, he says, what is Leonard Bernstein doing right now? And the answer was, he's decomposing.
Oh,
now, going back to now, going back to the image that you had before, the person who is dead will decompose, while the person who's sleeping stays composed. That factor that keeps him together is the energy of life, or bioenergy.
Well, I've noticed when my grandmother died at nearly 94 years of age, even though she was unconscious before she died, once she died and her soul left, before she was an unconscious person, after her soul left, she was basically a piece of meat. I noticed that.
Yeah, it's a quality that sensitive people can sense. You cannot fully describe it, but yes, life leaves the body.
Is there a soul?
Yes, yes. Bioenergy usually uses it uses the energetic body. You work with the energetic body, which is the program that keeps your matter look the way you are, your organicity, your health. It's all by the level of energy that you have inside you. The soul would be something else, and let's understand that too. You know, when you wake up in the morning, all you could do to yourself is make yourself tired.
Yeah.
So until the end of the day, you know, when you go back to sleep and you go in an unconscious state, and the recuperation occurs during that state. Now, this is the effect that the soul has over the energetic body. It depletes it. Because the demands that you have out of the body, taking yourself from there to there, makes you tired, and the recuperation occurs during sleep. So the other thing to remember, and I'm going to take you back into another image, one of those, you know, stepping stones for the mind. We all grew up into someone else's body. You grew up in your mommy's tummy,
right?
You know, right? So in that space, you know, when you were a little more than a zygote, something, you know, you were floating in amniotic fluid, and you were warmed. The warmth came from the mother. You were fed. You were breathed. You were pooped. Everything was done for you, and you were into a space that you had no gravity because you were in fluid, floating. That's where you grow organs. In that state. So there is a memory of that state in all of us. So being in someone else's field and being cared for is something that is natural to human beings. Everyone during a bioenergy treatment has a memory of that. So I would say that if you could induce into a person a state resembling sleep and evoking that memory, you'll induce healing into that person. Now, we talked about getting up in the morning and then getting tired during the day. That is the effect the soul has over the energetic body, and the soul is driven by the ego. You know, we're all different. You're different than me.
Yes.
You know, I call myself I, and you call yourself I, but they're different. You know, I'm Anton and you're Diana. And that is what drives the soul in a particular direction. You're a TV star, and I'm a bioenergy healer. You know, it's a difference.
Thank you for calling me a star. You're a saint and an angel in addition to being a bioenergy healer. But anyway, you were saying.
Yes, well, you have a star quality, I could tell you that.
Okay.
And the effect that the soul has over the body is, coined in popular terms, stress. Okay, I'm stressed on my job. I can't take it.
Well, if someone doesn't work and just sits at home all the time watching silly TV shows like this one,
boredom.
Would that person be stressed?
It wouldn't be the same kind of a stress, but I don't know what to do. There's nothing to do. What am I going to do?
Like
now?
little kids.
Yes, and I'm so bored. You know, I'm going to find some entertainment. Let me flip the channels, and then you ache from doing nothing. You know, well, it could occur in many ways. But
yes, but many people who are unemployed these days are feeling that now.
Yes, indeed. And there are a lot of the conditions that are connected to stress, like ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome. You know, it's a plethora of ailments. You know, people have back problems.
Yeah, I myself had lower back pain for many years due to stress, and I got over it once I learned to relax.
Yes. So that what you call the relax is actually emulating sleep. So when you could induce a state of that nature, either through exercise, meditation, or seeing a person like myself, then you re-stimulate this process of regeneration or recuperation, or you know, I call what I do energetic rejuvenation.
Now, how can people find you? How can they access the help you have to give?
Well, I have a website like everyone else. It's called Energetic Rejuvenation, www.energeticrejuvenation.com, and then you'll see what I do and how much I charge and where I work.
Well, you have your own clinic in New Rochelle.
I have a clinic in New Rochelle that is actually a benefit to the public. I do charity work in there, and I treat anybody who walks through that door.
Whether you have money or not, and if you do have money, please pay whatever you can pay.
The money goes directly to the foundation, and it's fully tax deductible. And I do that 3 days a month.
In addition to your own for-profit practice.
Yes.
Because you have to live and pay your
know.
bills.
So my practice is right now at the Edgar Cayce Center in Manhattan on 30th Street
yes,
at 8th
it is
Avenue.
241 West 30th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, second floor, I believe.
Correct. And it was a match made in heaven, I presume, because most people in this place don't require a full educational protocol before they go. They've already been educated. But if you don't know anything about this, it says, how does it work? What does it happen? What does it do to me? Okay, I have a pain in my back. Can you do something for me? Actually, pain is relatively easy to remove. You know, 20 minutes later you will feel less pain, or the pain will be gone. What's very hard is to keep it from coming back. Because whatever you did with your life up to that point, you know, brought that condition.
And the same stress is still there, and you will just get it.
So you have to change something in your behavior that brought that particular event.
That's how I got rid of my lower backache.
Exactly, and you have to identify its cause. When you identify the cause, at least you know what you should avoid.
Well, I had a job I hated, and that was what was doing it, you know.
Yes.
A job that I liked, but eventually I got bored with.
Well, that's kind of typical. People have conditions. It might be the mother-in-law, you know.
Yeah, it's something. Or a bad relationship, or whatever.
Yes, or it may be that, you know, you're not an assertive person or something. But, you know, psychological stress over the years, it's always held someplace. Like when you tense up, let's say you're driving, you know, something happened. Where do you tense up in your body? Everybody does it different.
Some in the stomach, some in the back, some in the shoulders,
some in the legs. You know, and then this done over many, many years, it's like a practice, you know. People practice mantras, people practice the violin, you practice stress, you know. You get very good at it.
Isn't that a good point?
You know, at some point it gets stuck into you. You got really so good that you have a physical result. You achieved it. Congratulations. Now it hurts, you have to do something about it. And that is when, you know, you go to the doctors, you go to the, you know, a naturopath, you go to a diet person, you know, and then you will see a person like me who will, you know, with, you know, intuitively, I will find out what that particular issue is. Once exposed, you know, we cooperate. You know, you may want to do the exercises that go with it. Because, you know, you see me, I'll do something, but if it only lasts a week, what's the point? You know, it will come back.
Well, you can come back every week.
Well, you know, if you do the exercises that go with it, it's not going to come back. Now you're working with me. You know, so we see each other for over a period of months.
Don't people have that syndrome of just going to someone and saying, here's my problem, please fix it, wake me when you're through? In other words, they throw their lives in your lap.
Oh, yes.
Save
it would
me.
be so easy.
Yes.
It would be so easy. Let's blame somebody else for the problem. Well, you caused the problem. Let's put it this way. Maybe it was thrown into you, but you know, there is always a cooperation as you are in the situation in which that problem came to.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
You know, but
you can always leave a situation.
Yeah.
I was in local Democratic politics. It was very stressful. I said, I've had enough. And I took a break, and I went back to it later when I felt able to.
Yes, but even that, you have to arrive at a conclusion and understand it, assume responsibility for it. Okay, often people come, you know, they have, let's say, a condition that they're very heavy in the body, you know, and I tell them, you know, I understand this, but you know, the person who has control over that hand, that's who's in charge, because that is the hand that brings the food to the mouth.
But also the food industry is very much, you know, supersize me. The people today feel that they're not getting their money's worth if they don't get a huge amount of food. And that's terrible.
Well, that is hypnotic, I would say. There is a distortion in perception. If you take the information that is given to you, it comes in packages, and behind that there are interests, you know, economical interests, and people do not actually are so doing good a lot because they're thinking of themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is our world. Our world is a balance in between, you know, private interests.
Well, we live in a material world, sadly. So.
You know, and but you know, I think it's changing. You know, there are a lot of sparks in consciousness that have occurred. You know, people ask a lot of questions. I think that's very good.
I agree.
They ask 100 questions. They ask their doctor. They ask the priest. They ask the bank. And that's a good thing. I figure if it is true, then you're going to get an answer.
Well, many years ago, people were much more intuitive. And then the Industrial Revolution made us all, well, it's business. And business is the business of the US of A. And everyone thought, well, business is the highest morality or immorality. And now, after 150 or so years of business running our lives, all of us, our world, I think we're realizing that maybe the original way was better. More intuitive, less big pharma, less money, you know?
Well, I think there is good and bad in everything. You know, our life is full of little gadgets and machinery that make life a lot easier.
Yes and no.
Yes and no, but you know, too much of anything or too little of everything is not so good. I say water is a very good thing. Well, too much of it, you're going to drown.
Right.
Too little of it, you're going to dry up.
Many years ago, Consumer Reports did a test on electric can openers. And they found that using a handheld can opener was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you wash it. Using an electric can opener was you hook it up, no, it fell, no, and then you turn it, and then you have to take it apart to wash it. This was not saving time or effort, but it was advertised as will save you time and effort.
Yes, that is when it gets out of bound. But, you know, with machinery you could do a lot more work by yourself. And truthfully, if you do so much work that you don't have any more time for yourself.
Yes, but that's causing so much unemployment. All the machines, Detroit is destroyed because, you know, mechanization and also, frankly, somewhat slipshod methods of construction, thanks to the car manufacturers, not the workers, the manufacturers have made our cars a disgrace. Vis-a-vis, say, German cars or something. We are not at the top of our game in the US of A.
No, we're not. We're manufacturing a lot less. And the quality of our life has become not as good as we anticipated.
I agree. Oh my! If they told us in 1968 that the world of today would be economically depressed, riddled with obesity, cancer, all sorts of diseases which didn't even exist in 1968, we would not have believed it.
No, and then we're going to see more of it because the world is getting fragmented and more intense in the various paths.
Is there a reason for that?
Probably it is what's happening when consciousness is not balanced.
Why are we not balanced?
Well, I heard this from an Irishman.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they have stories.
Yes.
He was saying that the world of the future is going to become specialized. There will be computeroids,
Yes.
sportids, and protostites.
Yes.
So people of the mind, of the soul, and of the body. You know, in other words, you pick a piece of humanity and you go with it and you
Yes.
develop it. And I think we're seeing the beginning of it already.
Not unlike the Hunger Games, where they have different groups devoted to different disciplines.
Yeah, so it's all about balance. And if we cannot do it on our own, then we should associate ourselves with people who help.
Yes. What is that wonderful thing you're wearing on your wrist?
Oh, this is a mala. It is.
Let's hold it up to the camera.
Right. All right. Well, it's a. Maybe I should take it out. You know, I'm a practicing Tibetan Bon. You know, part of healing is you go into different tradition. I had many masters, and
Excuse me.
I train myself and master about 12 and over methods. And one was when I apprenticed myself with Lama Chongtul Rinpoche of the Tibetan Bon. And part of that is, I mean, the teaching was from the 7th century. It took 5 years. And during this time, you have to practice mantras. You don't know exactly what mantras are when you start with them.
Right.
But this is...
It is something one repeats over and over, a kind of affirmation.
It's an affirmation. It's a holy affirmation. It was extracted from tradition, and then you keep count of how many you do by...
Like a rosary.
Yeah, like a rosary.
I see.
Now, this one, though, has, you know, 4 elements. You know, you have the green and the red and the yellow.
What does
and
the
blue.
green mean?
Well, the green is north. This is west.
Red is west.
Yes. Blue is south.
And yellow is?
White is east.
Oh.
And yellow is the center or space. Tibetans have 4 directions, 4 elements, and the 5th is the space. And this one I made myself. It's all natural stones.
Oh, that's great. Oh, yes. Glass, I think.
No, it's not glass. It's actually quartz.
Oh, quartz. Yes.
It's,
And it even has, it's really, I think rosaries probably descended from this kind of thing because it's very much like a rosary, but a Buddhist rosary.
No, it's actually a Bon rosary. But a Buddhist one would be, they're very similar. Buddha only happened later. The Bon tradition goes orally about 18,000 years.
Bon, is it called?
Bon, B-O-N.
Ah.
Tibetan
C'est
Bon.
bon.
C'est bon.
Yeah.
Bon appétit.
Yes. There you are.
Again,
Bon voyage. Ooh. But anyway,
so I studied for about 4 years, and then the 5th year we got the mastery of it. And it's called Sedupyang Bod.
now you come from a Western tradition. You were reared Greek Orthodox. How is it that you got so interested in Eastern religions and other?
Well, I have an interest in direct contact with divinity.
Yes.
You know, we have a feeling of it, but you know, the more clear you are about it, I figured, you know, it's best I talk to everybody.
Right.
How do you do it?
Yes.
How do you do it? How do you do it? No, so
Comparative religions.
and
Yes.
I found that the degree of sincerity and intensity varies in between practices, and some of them are more direct, and some of them are more through the use of an intermediary. What impressed me about the Bon is their cleanliness dedication and intensity. In 2004, the leader of the Bon tradition, Luc Tokten Painiima, came to the West for the first time. And it was like, nobody knew about those guys. Unless the Chinese...
I just found out about them now, yes.
Yeah, unless the Chinese kicked them out of Tibet, you would have never known about them. But it happened, and he came to the Garrison Institute. It was 2004, and he gave a speech that actually blew my mind. What he said, I'm going to paraphrase and make it short for the audience. What he said is, he started talking, and the translator was talking a little bit at the time, and then he stopped the translator and he said something like this. We Tibetans, unlike you Westerners, cannot build cars, airplanes, and computers. As a matter of fact, we can't even take care of ourselves, because if it wasn't for your money, we wouldn't be here. But when it comes to meditation, that we really know. So we have this capability of keeping this tradition from eons away, from 18,000 years ago. We kept it alive, but we cannot change it. We could only keep it the way it was given to us.
Why can they not change it?
Because it's their tradition. But we figure that if we come to you and we give you what we have kept intact and pure for all this time, you with the capability of building computers, cars, and airplanes are going to do with it something that we can't do on our own.
Disseminate it.
So we're going to make an experiment. Here is the teaching. And he proceeded to teach the R3 practice, the practice of attaining illumination, eventually in one lifetime. It's related to Dzogchen, a very intense meditation practice. And the mantra practice is about cleanliness, creating a pathway for connectivity. Because if you have the stamina and organization and discipline of going through a practice of, let's say, 1 million mantras, including 100,000 prostrations, physical ones, then you are a person who has a stamina to receive the higher teachings, which are about connecting to the divine source. And this is what attracted me to Bon.
Good.
And
just the fact that you knew about it is pretty amazing.
Yes, and the experience that you have as a Western mind to be in touch with an old tradition that is actually in its purest form. Now, I'm interested in healing. Healing is my passion. I can't live without it.
Excuse me.
And
good, heal.
you come and see.
Yes. But
let me do it for sympathy.
oh, thank you. Anyway,
so I studied a 7th century healing technique. It's basically going back to the shamanic times.
And this is what people can access at your clinic in New Rochelle and in your private practice at the Edgar Cayce Foundation.
Yes,
They
and
can,
now if there are chronic conditions that persist, and there are situations where pain is present, both pain reduction and improvement of chronic conditions will occur through bioenergy and
Do you believe in prescription medications?
Yes.
So painkillers are all right?
They're all right. They make you cross the situation. They'll help. If you get stuck into them, they become addictive, and then that is not a solution. That's a cop-out.
So,
if a person has an addiction, methadone is not the remedy.
No.
The remedy is letting go of the practice.
Yes. I mean, I once knew someone who was the heir to a great department store fortune, and sadly he became a heroin addict, and then he went on methadone, and he kept taking heroin. And supposedly the two are inimical, and one will make the other, it'll make you sick. But I said, well, I mean, why are you doing this to yourself? And why do you take methadone if you also take heroin? He said, well, it's free.
I will tell you something that comes from my observation. People who get into the habit of using drugs are actually people that seek spirituality.
We all knew that. He was a friend of many of us, and we all sensed that he was spiritual but on the wrong path.
Well, they are seeking spirituality, but they're not willing to do the work.
No, I agree.
You know, so they're looking for the short path. You cannot study mathematics by taking pills. You cannot become spiritual by taking drugs.
Unless, of course, you use it as an aid to spirituality, like peyote or something.
Okay, you touched on the subject that I actually researched.
Okay.
Because I didn't know. You know, people say shamans do
We have
this.
3 minutes. No, we have 2 minutes.
Well, that may be for the next show. But
Okay.
so why don't we do that?
Okay.
Leave it for another time.
Oh, sounds good. Anyway, now give us your address one more time.
Okay, if you want to see me, you go at the Casey Foundation, Edgar Casey Foundation. You go at my website, www.energeticrejuvenation.com. My cell phone number is 845-772-7200. And the clinic, the free clinic at New Dawn Foundation occurs once a month. You have to access the calendar by entering the New Dawn Foundation in Google. It will take you there. You look at the calendar, and it's usually Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the first week of the month, when the 3 days occur after the first.
Okay.
I don't know if you understood that, but that's what I meant.
And this clinic is by donation. If you can't pay anything, that's fine. If you can pay something, please do, because it helps defray the expenses for those who can't. So anyway, my name is Diana Montford. My guest has been the truly brilliant and fascinating Mr. Anton Baraschi. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Absolutely
Oh,
perfect.
thank you. And he is a great and well-known bioenergy healer. He's very popular in the bioenergy field. He's known for his excellence and his talent. And the Edgar Casey Foundation would not allow him to practice there if he were not top drawer and 1,000% honest. I'm Diana Montford. This has been the Diana Montford Show. You know I love you. And you know even if nobody else loves you, I love you.
I love you too.
Anton loves you too. See, now that's 2 of us, okay? So we love you even if nobody else loves you. You're a lovable person. And I will see you next time. And you take real good care of yourself, because I love you a lot. Bye.
God bless.